Hey, so welcome back. This is going to be another practice strategy. This is going to be strategy 2. We're going to be learning how to predict. This means on predicting, some questions ask about values not listed. Okay, so it'll ask you to predict what's going to happen in the pattern next. Okay, usually it's a table or a graph that they're referring to. You're going to find 2 points that it falls between and choose the answer that corresponds, or continue the pattern that already is set if it falls outside the parameters. Okay, so you're going to have to look at the pattern and see what's next if it's not looking for something in between those patterns. Okay, so we're going to be going over a few colors. So I'll give you a little bit of time to switch over between them. We're going to start with the purple paper, okay, on greenhouse gases. Then we'll move, second question, we'll move to the tan sheet on fruit flies. And then the third question, we're going to move to the yellow sheet on cloud cover. Okay, so I'll give you a few seconds to switch over to those when we get to them. But I'll also have them demonstrated in my document cam so you can just follow along. Okay, all right, so let me move that out of the way. So the first question we're going to be dealing with is going to be, I got a bunch of papers over here, so let me move these papers out of the way. Is going to be number 16 right here. Okay, number 16, and I'll move that up for a minute, and then I'll have to move it down when we go to the figure. Okay, so on the purple sheet, we're going to do number 16, and it's referring to according to figure 2. So once again, we're going to be using figure 2. Okay, it says if the trend in the CH4 concentration, okay, CH4 concentration, that's still on the y-axis, but now we're on this side, okay? It says if it had continued to match the trend in the solar radiation intensity, the CH4 concentration at present would most likely be. So we're predicting the pattern. So what we would do is we would go over to this graph right here. And as you can see, when the two graphs were combined, that's what they're talking about. When these two were matched up, if the trend, now you see how that went that way, but they're saying if they were matched up and stayed with the trend, okay, and went all the way down to present, what would that CH4 concentration be? Okay, so then our choices are less than 550. Well, I can see right now that it's at 450, right? So I don't even need to look at any other questions because it's going less than 550, between 600, greater than 650. Okay, so I already know that it's going to be at 450 if that were the case. So my answer to this would be F, okay, which would be less than 550 parts per billion. Once again, you can look at those units, right? Units are important, and look for parts per billion, and parts per billion is right there, okay? All right, so now click on the next sheet that I gave you, which is the tan sheet, okay? The tan sheet is the one on fruit flies, okay? Now, we are going to be doing question number 4, which is right here. So that's the question we're going to be working on, is question 4, okay? And this is a predicting question, okay? So it says, suppose that an additional trial in study 3. So we go to study 3 at the top. As you can see, there's study 3. Oops, you probably can't see that, okay? There's study 3. And it says, if it had been performed using a 12% SY. So I'm going to go down here and look. 12% would have been between 10 and 15 for each one. Then it tells me, if I go further, it says the average lifespan of strain X. So I'm only looking at strain X here. And I know that I'm looking at 12%, which is between 10 and 15, okay? So I'm going to draw my line there. And then it says, this trial would most likely have been. All right, so here are my choices. Would it be less than 55.6? Okay, no, because look, the one higher is 58.6. Okay, so it's not going to be less than, between 55.6 and 58.6. So it's saying between those two numbers, yes. Okay, because the one above it is 58.6 and the one below it is 55.6. So my answer here would have been G, between 55.6 and 58.6. Okay, all right. So now that you understand that one, now we're going to go to the third question, which is the yellow sheet. Okay, I'm going to move my yellow sheet over. And on the yellow sheet, okay, we are going to be looking at question number 14. Okay, so we're going to be looking at question number 14 on the yellow sheet. Okay, now in question 14, it says based on table 1. Okay, so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to find table 1. Now it says a cosmic ray flux of 440,000 particles. Okay, now we stop at 420 here. So what they're referencing is 440,000, which is going to be in addition. Okay, so we're going to predict the pattern. So watch the pattern. Look how we keep increasing. If you notice, look at that pattern as we're increasing. We're increasing by 0.3, aren't we? See, because you go from 27.8, 28.1, 28.4, 28.7, 29. So now it says would correspond to a cover of low clouds that is closest to which of the following. So it's asking you to figure out the cloud percentage, right? Well, this is 29. If we know that the pattern is we keep jumping by 0.3, we're looking for 29.3, which would be H, and that's the answer, okay? See how fast you can get through these questions if you know what to look for, okay? All right, so you guys are now gonna do some extra practice. So you're gonna do extra practice. You're gonna do number 1 and 5 on the tan sheet, and then you're gonna do numbers 13, 15, and 16 on the yellow sheet, okay? So that will be in Google Classroom. You'll have all those colors of sheets, and then you'll go through them. And then remember, there's going to be a Google form where you just click your answers, and that's how you get credit for today, which is Tuesday, okay? So like I said before, do your best. Remember, this is money that you could get for scholarship money. We're just doing the best we can to try to provide you an opportunity to be successful next week, okay? All right, I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll be talking to you on Wednesday, okay?